Hello guys, welcome to lesson 4. In this lesson we are going to be making the holes for the mount for our little battery charger. So there's two ways to do this. We can either use the hole tool or we can use a inverse extrude, so an extruded cut. And in this case I'm going to be using the hole tool because it is typically more convenient for a standard hole, and the extrude option is more designed for a complex shape. So I'm going to start a new sketch on this top face right here. And I'm going to simply just add points. I'm going to add 4 of them since there are 4 mounting holes. And this would be a good time to talk about constraints. So if I select 2 of these, I can click on the horizontal or vertical constraint. And now, no matter where I move these, they will remain horizontal or vertical, whichever one was closer at the time of adding the constraint. So then I can continue to do this for these 2, meaning now they have that same property applied to them, as well as doing the same for these 2 and these 2. So this ensures that these are always in some form of rectangle. So now all I have to do is dimension to the origin or the edge, and this will hopefully be locked in place. So by pressing D on my keyboard, I can dimension this to the origin, and in this case, since I have 3 points selected, it didn't work as I intended it. So by trying it again, click on the origin, and I can say that I want this 0.3 inches away. So now I'm simply going to have to reflect this for this one. And as we can see, one of these points has turned black. This means that it will not be moving around because it is now constrained. However, these are not constrained yet, as you can clearly see. So I will finish up adding the dimensions by pressing D on the keyboard. And now we have everything constrained. Now, by no means is this the most efficient way of doing it. This is actually quite inefficient and would be done a lot better, yet it is the simplest, so that's why I chose to go with it here. And in addition to that, it takes longer to do a more complex, easier solution, oftentimes anyway, so this will be totally fine. So now I will left click on Finish Sketch. I will press H on my keyboard to get the hole tool, or I could go down to the drop down menu and select it here. And now I'm going to select multiple. I'm going to left click on each of these points from my sketch. And obviously these are far too large, so I'm going to edit this down here. And I'm going to make them 0.1 inches across, which looks pretty reasonable to me, as well as making sure to just select straight line for everything. And I'm going to click all, just so that if I was to change the dimension of the thickness of this body, it would change with it. So now I can simply click OK, and as we can see, we have made some holes there. However, I can go back and I can edit this, and I can add threads too if I have a specific thread that I want to imitate. So the way that this can be done is by selecting Tapped, and now you can go down to here and you can specify something like, let's say, the isometric profile, which is used pretty often. And let's make this an M6 bolt, I guess. And now I can click. I would not recommend clicking modeled, because if you were to click modeled, then it would actually model each of these threads instead of them just being an image, which would definitely slow down your performance of your computer. And then you can either click OK, or in this case I'm going to cancel because that's not what I want to do. So that will conclude lesson 4.